Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy, Just B, and welcome to season 2 of the Just B Show. Y'all already know what it is. This particular series is The People on the Rise. And today, we got my man, hashtag Diggs. I don't want to kill your name. How you say the first name, Loren?
Loren Diggs.
There you go, Loren Diggs, but I'm pretty sure y'all know him from his social media platforms and his hashtag Diggs, and I like that. That kind of got a ring to it. So
Right.
I just want to introduce y'all to my man right here, Loren Diggs, aka hashtag Diggs, and today we're going to be talking about his book that was published in 2011, y'all. I'm talking about a book that had over 15,000 sales. Killing the game. He killing the game. You can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong with it. Today, this particular episode is called Which Class of Woman Are You? We want to know. So ladies, please tune in and come have a chat with your boys and let's see what it do. How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. God bless, man. Bless me to wake up another day. Yesterday, I know we were supposed to do this interview yesterday, and I was a little bit lagged, man. But, I'm going to be transparent too. And I'm going to tell you the 100% truth.
Break it down.
Here it is, right? Came in from the city and, of course, feeling a little bit lagged, feel a little bit, just a little bit off because it was just such a long flight, it felt like. But also, I want to warn people that if you planning on getting busy, taking care of your lady or whatever, stay away from pills. Stay away from pills. If you healthy already, don't do any kind of extends or volcanoes or rhinos or anything like that, man. Because those type of deals, bro. I had the most wicked headache, man. I was trying to please one of the women that we're gonna be talking about today, and I didn't need to take it because I had the most wicked headache when I woke up, man. It was crazy. But a good night, but a really wicked headache. All right. So, all right.
I'm weak. Hey, thanks for the honesty, brother. So, as you know, man, on the Just Be Show, it's all about support. It's all about positivity, having fun, having a good time, and most importantly, being authentic, bro. That was the most authentic shit that I can hear.
I had to be honest, man. I mean, it's not about the ratings or nothing like that. It's about us being real with our people, and there's other things that I could have done. I could have taken some ginger. I could have taken some other natural sort of supplement, but I was really out of it because I was lagged and I knew I didn't have the energy to perform like I want to perform, and I took the pill and the pill did the job, but I had to pay for it the next day because it was over for her in 30 minutes. 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It was over for her, but it went on for me for the next 4 hours. And, being a pleaser, that's just what happened, man. That's, I'm just trying to keep it, I'm a good old boy. I'm a good old boy.
Thanks, man. I definitely appreciate you, man. So as you know, brother, it's an interview type platform, so I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, man. I tell everybody, you can answer them all, but if you don't, we don't got a show. So if you ready, I'm ready.
I'm ready, man.
All right, cool, man. So, I mean, you just mentioned how you was doing, you was putting in work last night. So I'm sure, I want to know, but I'm sure the ladies in the audience want to know, man, are you single or are you not?
Oh man, this is one of those questions, man. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. I'm reserved.
Reserved. All right. That's fair enough.
I'm not entangled though. I'm not entangled.
Oh shit.
I'm just reserved. Okay. I'm preserved and reserved. I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll say that for my audience, man. She knows who she is. She's a special lady. So I don't like to put everything out there. She's a very special lady. So.
Yeah. Well, big shout out to the special lady. And, thanks for not lasting the whole 4 to 5 hours because he probably wouldn't be on the show again today. But big shout out to you, young lady. I definitely appreciate you taking care of my mans right here for sure. All right, man. So to get into the nitty gritty, man, I read a lot of your bio. I have not purchased your book yet, but I definitely will. If you don't know, now you know, brother. Everybody that's on the show that's an author, I buy their books. Hands
Man,
down, I
oh,
buy their
that's
books.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah. I show love and all that, man. So, in within that, I seen that you have daughters, but how many daughters do you have?
I have three daughters. Three daughters, man.
Ooh.
I have a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
Oh man, you got all the
Yeah,
teams, man. Is it hard work?
yeah. It is exhausting. I'm telling you. I think the biggest thing when you're a father and you're raising daughters, the biggest thing is giving that well deserved personal attention and time so that they know that you are really setting it aside for them. Young ladies are very particular and they want to be heard and they want to be felt. And
Yeah,
I think that's probably the toughest part is making sure that they get the time they need.
right.
Because
Yeah,
you're their first
man.
love. I mean, as a father, you're their first love, man.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And every daughter that I've raised, let me say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, every little girl that I've raised, bro, like they always needed your time, and
yes,
I don't want to call them emotional, but that's not a bad thing to be emotional. So they
it's not.
always wanted to, they wanted your love, they wanted your attention, they wanted to be able to talk to you and feel safe and
Absolutely.
secure, man. So big ups to you, brother, because I can't even imagine. There's no sons, all girls, all
No, actually,
teenagers.
actually, I'm a big papa. I don't put my boys on the front street a lot, but I do have an older son. He's
Oh,
22,
okay.
and then I have a younger son. He's 8.
Got you,
So the
got you.
girls are the meat in the middle because for them, I'm not going to say it's easier to raise a son than it is a daughter, but I will say that because I'm a male, my daughters are responsible for my development as a man more so than my boys. You know,
Right.
I mean, I read books like this, for example. Like this is a book I read, 50 things that that a dad needs to give. There it's 52 things kids need from their dad.
Let me see.
I definitely prescribe this to anybody who's a father. So I'm just not a father. I'm studying to be a better father every day. And I think we should do that in every way. If you want to be a husband or a better husband, be a better husband. If you want to be a better boyfriend, be a better boy. You want to be. They got books out there for everything, and there's experiences that we can all share and learn from.
Everything, man. Yo, big shout out to you, brother, for even saying things in that nature, bro. Like it takes work to be a father. So for you to be reading that book, that tells a lot about your character, man. I respect you on a whole different level now. That's dope.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
welcome.
I can't. We can't make this up. There's no handbook. You know, fatherhood, parenthood. None of that is no handbook. But let's go. Let's go on. I know you have a bunch of questions.
A bunch of them. All right, man. So, as we spoke about on the intro, man, you published a book in 2011. Tell me a little bit about that book. What's the name of it?
It's called The Nine Classes of the Modern Woman. And the interesting thing about this book was that it came through a conversation I was having in the studio. But the perspective that I speak from, although it's based in psychology because I went to University of Illinois for child psychology. Although it's based in psychology and based on a lot of surveys that I took,
Yeah.
it also is based I mean, a big part of it is based on what I actually seen as a young man being raised in a house with 4 women. My grandmother, I mean, all educated women. My grandmother, from Grambling. My aunt from University of Illinois in Chicago. My mom also from University of Illinois and nursing, and and my other aunt from Chicago, Chicago State. These are all educated urban women, with with a Caribbean flavor. I was privy to hear conversations that many men, many boys do not hear. And I was privy to these conversations because I was a kid who was always around. I was one of the only boys in the house. So when you're raised, it is a privilege to be in a way, it's kind of a privilege to be raised by a single parent. My father was a weekend father or a summer father, like a lot of us. And my uncles were holiday uncles. So I didn't get that testosterone. I got a slow drip of masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? was a slow drip, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I really danced in the shadow of glorious women for a nice portion of my life, man. And I think it really helped me in being a man. But I will say this, it also contributed to me being a womanizer. Early on in life, I was a woman. I'm no longer a womanizer, but early on in life, I will admit, and this is another very transparent thing, is that a lot of young men who are raised in single parent homes where they're raised by their mothers, they become womanizers. And I was a womanizer. And I want to speak about this in two different ways. A womanizer or an izer, by definition, is someone who watches the pattern of something. So if you watch a geyser, you know, you're watching the pattern of water. If you watch a woman, you're watching the pattern of women. And I was watching the pattern of women at a very early age, and it helped me to figure out ways to, I'm going to use a really terrible word, manipulate situations and make them work for me.
Oh yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
out of
yeah,
that.
man.
I'm out of that phase, man.
Hey, one thing, hey, let me tell you, boy, you authentic. I like this. This gonna be a good interview, y'all. Y'all better be paying attention. But look, man, I can relate to you with that because I was also only raised by my mother and my grandmother. You know, I
Yeah.
had, the men in my life, they was summertime, like you said. They was summertime, holidays or no days. It is what it
Right,
is.
right, right.
But I can relate to you with that. And I had mentioned that before. I had did an interview with the great Queen G, and I mentioned that, man, that being raised by only women in my life, I kind of learned how to be a manipulator, like a womanizer, straight up. It is what it
Well,
is.
I mean, women have game, man. They got the best
Boy.
game out there, bro. Women, man, women scheme on levels that are unknown to us. I've learned so much from women. Like one of the greatest men in the Bible, Solomon. Uh, he he contributed most of his wisdom to God and women. Literally contributed it to them. So speaking of Queen G, with man, I got something in the mail today. So this is what I got in the mail today. I didn't even open this. So I glanced inside and wouldn't pull it out until I got on the show. So this is what
Uh
I got in the
oh.
mail today, man. You see this right here?
Uh oh.
I'm gonna be reading this for the rest of the week. I'm gonna be reading pieces of this for the rest of the week. This woman is an incredible woman. Her and her husband, Mr. Bell, man, incredible people. And I'm gonna be reading inserts of her book, very inspiring. Just from the pieces that I've gotten from people. So y'all tune in. I'm gonna be definitely supporting this book right here.
Yo, let me tell y'all, Queen G is everywhere, man. I believe I got that same book. Hold up.
No, you don't.
Put yours on the screen for me. Let me see.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You got it too?
Yo.
Oh,
Yo,
yo.
how official is that? Big shout
How
out to you, Queen
official,
G.
man.
Big shout out to you, Queen G, man. Let me read some of these comments right here. Just before we continue on. Tiki Doe
Mm-hmm.
says you have to show girls how men are supposed to love and respect
Yes.
them. True, true.
Yes.
Definitely, definitely.
Absolutely.
Thanks for engaging, Tiki Doe. Joshua Fast says, I only had my grandma. Yeah, yeah. It be like that, brother. But hey, long as we turn out to be men, no matter what, we got it
Yeah.
going. We'll figure it out, brother. But yeah,
Yes.
man, big ups to you. I can definitely relate to you. That just tells me that this interview is gonna be popping.
All right. Let's
It's
go.
gonna be popping. Let's get it, man. So I know you mentioned something about surveys and questions, but what was the process you had to take to get all the info for your book?
Well, okay. So, I read a bunch of books. First of all, I read Sexual Secrets. I read the basics, 48 Laws of Power, Rules of Attraction, Laws of Attraction. I read so many books. And man, my mind goes a blank just how many books I read. And after reading all these books, I was like, nobody is making this simple. So I thought I would dumb this situation down and let people know that there's a really simple way. And I don't want to put people in categories, but I had to in order to make it a study. So when I put these anonymous I put an anonymous survey out there. You know how you can win an iPad or win an iPhone? I put an anonymous survey. I paid to put an anonymous survey out there, and I put it out there for 2 years. And once I put the survey out there, and when I put this, people were winning an iPad, and I put an anonymous survey out there, and I was blown away by the results of the survey. And this was so anonymous. I spread it around. I spread it about. It was over 80,000 responses. So
Ooh.
it was out there for a year and a half. I got 80,000 responses. And then right before I tallied in, I got another 40,000 responses. So this book, this information in this book is me crunching the numbers and crunching the info, even the parts where people could actually like write in their comments. I crunched these and I put this into one book, 68 pages of pure just man. It was work. It was work.
Yeah,
But I
it's
started the book
definitely
out
work.
like how I started the book is I explained something that was really simple. I started out with like a little small anecdote. And on the first pages, it basically says, um, I was doing like what young boys do. I was about 12 years old. And around that age, you start to get curious about girls and curious about life and curious about everything, even about yourself. So I was in the street, I was playing football with my friends. My mom calls me in, and she is there with one of her male friends. And I'm sitting there on the couch, she says, sit down. I sit down, and my mom pops. She does what probably no mom. I don't know if any other mother in the world is this real. Rest in peace, my mother. But I don't know if any other mother in the world is this real. She turned on the TV, VHS, Pinewood VHS, put a tape in, and she pushed play. And I looked at the screen, and it was porno. It was porno on the screen. I'm 13. I'm 12 going on 13. It was porno on the screen. And she asked me, do you know what this is? And I said, people are doing it. That's what you said back then. People are doing it,
Yeah.
right? And she's like, is there something else you call it? And I said, well, I guess they're making love. And she says, no, son, they're not making love. She says, and she turns it off. And she says, love is putting a roof over someone's head, helping them to take care of themselves, pushing them to be the best person that they can be, feeding them, and taking and actually taking interest in what they want in their life. Love is valuing people and enduring them and stuff like that. And she went on about love. And then she said, that is sex. She says, sex is what people use to have babies. Sex is what people use to agree. And I never forget this. She says, sex is what people use for exercise. I held on to that one. She
Yeah.
said, sex is what people use for exercise and stress relief. And I said, and she says, don't listen to any, my mother had a slight accent. She said, don't listen to any of your dumbass friends out there talking while you're playing football about humping girls, dry humping girls and all this stuff. And she said, don't listen to any of your dumbass friends. If you want to know anything about sex, you come to me or you come to my best friend, Anthony, you know? And
Yeah.
Anthony's like, yeah, you come to me. I'll tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? So so I look at Andy, he's like, yeah, you come to me. And I was like, okay. So he was just cheering. She elbowed him. And then that was really it. And I never went to my after that, I knew that my mom was open for me to talk to her about these things. And I never asked my friends another thing in the street. Because
Right.
I was 13, I was a virgin, like most 12-year-olds. But nowadays it's happening earlier and earlier. But that's how I opened the book, with the distinction between me learning an early distinction at 12, 13 about sex and love.
Yeah, yeah, man. Hey, man, big shout out to your mama, man. That's real. She told you
Man,
what it is. She told you the truth. That's the
yeah,
beauty in it. Yeah, this is not, no, this is having sex.
this is sex. Just like that. You have a baby, you get a disease, it's exercise, you agree. She broke it all down to me, man. Just like that.
That's real, man. Rest in peace to Mama Diggs, man. That's
Man,
love,
man,
man. Yeah, that's love, man. It sounds like
forever.
that process was definitely a learning experience, man. But let me ask you, man, while you were doing the process, bro, did you learn things of creating a book? Did you learn things about women that you didn't know before? Or was it all just
Absolutely.
like repeat?
No, I learned a lot about women. I learned that women are a lot less complicated than we think. But at the same time, there are some ambiguous actions. They have a different way of discovering themselves than young men do. And I learned that women value, a lot of women are taught, I'll say that, a lot of women are taught to value the opinions of others a lot more than creating an image for themselves. And I think society has a big impact on that. And I think the lack of fathers and the lack of affirmation of male figures that actually love love these young girls have a big impact on that as well. So I'm proud to be a father who affirms my daughters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, that's real, man. That's real. Yo, if you have a young lady, a middle-aged lady, or an older lady in your life, make sure that you give her conviction. Let her know that you really love her, man. Show these women's love, you feel me? Show them love so that they don't be having these mini identity crises or whatever it may be. Don't be with a woman if you ain't gonna love her. That's all I'm saying. Do what you gotta do, whether you young, middle aged, or old, or yeah, all that. I want you to love them even when you're gone. Love them in the spirit. But you gotta love them, y'all. 100%, man. That's dope, brother. Proud of you, man, that you even learned some things. Cause most dudes, we try to learn stuff, we be like, man, whatever.
Well, it was one time because I was talking to another author, and the author said something that was really different. She says men have midlife crises, but we understand ourselves a lot sooner than women do. She says, but women have whole life crises and midlife realizations.
Yeah.
She said young men have real life realizations and midlife crises, but young women have whole life crises and then midlife realizations. So basically they grow into their better self, while men have themselves figured out a long time ago. And I actually did, like, part of the study was about that. It was about character building and things like that. And one of the discoveries was that the acceptance of character, like our five main characters, like who you're going to be, because we have a lot of self to unpack. So the
Yeah.
acceptance of character is established for young boys a lot sooner than it is for young girls. And I don't know why that is, but it could be attributed to emotions. It could be attributed to, the way that the market has sold women and sold people, sold a lot of things about beauty and things like that. So it's interesting, man. It was really interesting to discover so much about women.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Now, this next question, brother, I got to ask you. So, after publishing this book, were you more careful about your selection of the kind of woman that you wanted, or was it still just free game?
Absolutely more careful. Absolutely more careful. And then I had also realized that there was a certain thing about me that was attracting certain types of women. I realized that because I also, like, I just don't talk about women in this book. There's a section where I talk about men. And in the section where I talk about men, there's four types of men out there for women. And I've talked about this before on, like, my pods or whatever, but the four types of men is you have the intellect. Okay. That's someone who uses their mind to get things done. There's the compromiser, and that's someone who doesn't mind doing anything to get things done. You see, use their mind, and then when it doesn't mind, as long as they get what they want to get done. Then there's the passive aggressive. Now, passive aggressive, there's no assertion in there. In other words, nothing is very firm about that man. He's literally going from 0 to 60. And so you don't know. He's very unpredictable. A lot of people are with passive aggressive. A lot of ladies that are with passive aggressive men ultimately end up being abused, either verbally or physically. And then the last one is the handler. Now, the handler is similar to the passive aggressive in the sense of being aggressive, but the handler normally chooses women that he has to handle because they're wild, or they pretty much ask to be handled that way. You'll hear a lot of women saying that this man can't handle me, and what will end up happening is that they will find a handler. Not to say that it's like an animal, but they will find someone who handles them. Yeah, exactly. And so that's you ask for it, you get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, man. Yeah, I've never heard it put that way, but I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. That's super dope, man. Yeah, hey, ladies, pay attention to hashtag digs. He dropping the truth, but fellas, make sure y'all tune in too and pay attention. Pay attention. Ladies, this is one of the questions that I asked you before we dropped this episode. What class of woman do you think you are? Do you like to be handled? Do you like what was the
And,
other
and
one? My bad.
a passive aggressive man, someone you can, like, that's unpredictable. He's
Yeah,
indifferent.
Yeah, do you want a unpredictable dude? Do you want a dude that just know you? Do you want a womanizer? Or just
Yeah.
tell us what you want. Do me a favor and put it in the comments below. I love to see y'all engage. I love to see y'all comment. Let's get it popping, man. If you just tuning in, this is my man's hashtag Diggs, author of 9 Classes of the Modern Woman, y'all. We having this discussion is much needed and well deserved, y'all. Let's keep it going. So, brother, I've noticed over the years, not just myself, but other men that I know or whatever, once we like learn what kind of woman they are or whatever, we tend to be a little judgmental. But do you ever find yourself being judgmental towards certain classes of women?
Um, what I'll say is I'm not judgmental. Not judgmental at all. The thing is that I just accept them, and I think that's the biggest issue that a lot of men have is that they can't accept men. I mean, like they can't just accept that man being exactly who he is. They like I heard it once. It was another author I was talking to of another book because every time I read a book, I'll try to get in touch with the author and ask him questions just like you, but sort of like off the record. And one of the questions I asked was, I said, do you take the time out to actually get to know the woman before you put her into a category? And the guy said, there's only a few questions you really need to ask to get to know someone. So how many questions do you ask before you get to know someone? And I made me start thinking. It right away it put me on thing. So what I want to do for you and all the readers and listeners out there is I want to help you to understand exactly the classes of women. Okay, there's 9 of them, and I know you were going to get to this question.
Yeah. That's actually the next question. You don't got to give a whole breakdown, but could you at least name the 9 classes so that these
Yes,
ladies and these viewers and these listeners can figure out which class they are? Because I need y'all to let me know. And soon as you hear them, soon as you hear the class that you are, ladies, put it in the comments.
I guarantee you that if someone doesn't identify with these directly, that they will be able to identify someone that falls into this class. And as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that this is law, but I'm saying that this is like these were my findings. But I also will say this, that keep this in mind, that you can be more than one class. In fact, most people are, because we transition in our lives. But there's a primary and then there's a sub. Okay, a primary is a sub, so you can't be a GA. You can only be an AG. You'll be one early and then you'll be one later, and that's the combination of who you are. So without further ado, I'll go. Okay, so the class A, and it goes in alphabetical order. Class
All
A.
right, let's get it.
The class A is the amateur. The amateur is governed by her guardians or whoever's in charge of her. Okay. She considers herself a princess. She considers herself someone who gets all of her ideas. She has no original ideas. She gets her ideas from her parents or guardians or whatever. The only way to an amateur for the guys, there's something here for you guys too. The only way to an amateur is to get to the source. You have to get to the guardian. Okay. Remember, you have to be a jester because she's a princess or a queen. She has to be. You have to be a jester. You have to keep humor in your life, in her life, in order for her to even open up the gate of affection. That's the amateur. Class B. This is the bad one, right? The bad chick, right? These are the peacocks. The peacocks. These are the ones that are always competing with their friends, always competing for status, always competing for attention. You'll notice that they're loud, they're boisterous, they do a lot of very identifiable things, and they always run with a nice pack or at least one other person, always. They rarely ever do anything alone. So the bad chick is the one who's looking for someone who has status. So guys, the only way to get a bad chick is to have things of status. She needs to be able to talk to her group or her tribe to basically approve that she is a bad chick. Okay, she does not listen to her guardians. That's how that's another thing. She's a rebel against everything that her guardians have taught her. All right. So the only way to the bad chick is through status symbols, cars, clothes, things like that, real estate, things like that. Status. That's the bad chick. Now, letter C, the casual. Okay. So the casual is she doesn't have any self-identity. She's promiscuous. She floats around. She's not really stable, and she's always looking for someone to sort of save her, almost like a damsel in distress. She's looking for someone to tell her who she is, who she is and where she fits. And the minute someone else says it, then she gravitates to that. She's very loose. Ladies, she's not to be trusted around your man. Fellas, she's not to be trusted around your friends. She's very casual. Now, once you give her a title, if you date her, fellas, once you give her a title, then at that point you have to also have in detail the ideas or the jobs for her to do in that title. So if she's your main chick, give her some main chick roles. All right. Enough about that. Class D. Class D. Damaged. She is completely damaged. Okay. Now I'm sure we all know about the damaged. But the problem with the damage is that the damage probably didn't come from you. The damage probably came from someone before. But guess what? You're going to have to pay the price for everyone who damaged her. So every guy, depending on how much traffic she's had in her life, every guy that's done something wrong with her, you are now that guy. She's going to break your car window. She's going to cut your tires. She's going to do all sorts of things. She may help you. She may help you lose your job. Who wants that help, right? All these things. The only way to endure, if you find yourself with a damaged woman, the only way to endure or to be with a damaged woman is to simply allow that woman time. You have to let her run herself into circles and basically show her that nothing she does can ruin you. Nothing she does can ruin you. All right. Then there is the educated. So after she's been damaged, she's tired, she's fed up, she wants to get smart in her life. She's been damaged and she's been, just everything. She's felt dumb. So now she gets educated. Now the educated woman is very closed off. She's very completely cold with everyone, but she's a tool user. So in other words, she is using everything to climb up the economic ladder or educational ladder. So let's just say she goes to school for nursing. If she goes to school for nursing and she doesn't have a car and you do, guess what? She needs you right now because you're going to be the way to go back and forth to school. If she doesn't have a place to live, guess what? She needs you right now because she doesn't have a place to live. So she is a tool user, even with her own friends. Her friends, everyone becomes a tool. So the only way that a man can deal with a woman who is who is going through this educated stage in her life is for him to remind her or allow himself to be tooled. That's it. F. Class F is the fancy and free. Okay. I'll call her the fancy and free. I label it as something else in the book, but I'll call it fancy and free for lack of better words. Fancy free. So the class F, the fancy free, she is very abundant. She can attract everything. Maybe she's beautiful. Maybe she has a certain skill set. She can attract everything. The issue is not attracting things. The issue is keeping them. So she can get a brand new car. She can get a brand new place to live. She can get a brand new man every week if she wanted it to. New hairstyles, everything. But she can't keep a thing. So she has no maintenance issues. No maintenance stability. So her issue is she needs someone who can talk indirectly to her. So because she doesn't listen to her main guy. She's very open-minded sexually, and she's never gonna have any issue in that direction. But because her mouth is so free, because her mouth is so loud and abrupt, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right, brother?
Yeah.
Because her mouth is so free and fancy, she's doing more this than she does this. So the only way a man can deal with her is to learn to speak indirectly to her. He has to talk to her mother, to her friends, to her coworkers. He has to find other ways, maybe write her letters, because she's not going to listen to him outright. Class G, not Queen G, but Class G. So Class G is a good woman. A lot of men will find themselves with good women. There are a lot of good women out here. I have to put that disclaimer out there. There are a lot of good women out here. These are the women that you want to cohabitate with. She's very domesticated. She cooks, she cleans, she washes, she supports you. She's a good woman, right? The issue with the good woman is that this class right here, she literally splits hairs. She makes more work than there needs to be. She overwhelms herself. And the clinical definition of overwhelming yourself is when you do not learn how to utilize the tools you have, nor the resources you have. That is the definition, the clinical definition of being overwhelmed. So if you don't know how to use the tools, or you don't know how to recognize your resources, then you're overwhelmed all the time, right? So so the thing about a good woman is that she's gonna create trouble. So the only way a man can be with a good woman, because she know everything about you. She knows social security numbers. She know your mama, your blood type. She know everything about you, brother. But the issue is that that good woman is gonna make trouble, and she needs to. She's a fixer. She has to fix things. So you got to leave her things to fix. Leave your socks at the door, so she can have something to complain about. A lot of times she could be argumentative because
Yeah.
she needs to fix things. All right. I got two more classes.
Hit him.
Class H, this is the harmonious woman. And the harmonious woman is driven by a symbol. Okay. Maybe she's spiritually uh, enlightened. Maybe she is very into numerology. Maybe she is into some sort of symbol. Okay. Catholicism, Jehovah's Witness, whatever. But she's really drawn into that symbol. And so the only way that a man can deal with her is to govern her through that symbol. If he does not learn to respect and work and speak to her in that symbol, he cannot get her to do anything. The thing about this woman is that she attracts wealth because she simply has a discipline that is unheard of. She's very, very consistent. She may desire the same thing, but in most cases, she has it herself. So if she can't find it, that's fine. If you let her control the money, she will control you. So a man has to govern her through the symbol. Last but not least, we all know about these. We hear about these every day on the internet, social media, right? We hear about these. This is the Puma / Cougar. In other words, the independent woman, right? We hear about this, right? The independent woman, right?
All the time, man. All the
So, I mean,
time.
we've been hearing this since 2010, right? The independent, right? A lot of women want to graduate to being independent. The Cougars and the Pumas, right? Let's make a distinction between them, shall we? All right.
Yes.
The Puma is the younger woman who is seeking an older man for his wealth, for his wisdom, for his things, and she drains him of those. In return, she increases his value. She makes him feel good about himself. She does those things, right? And while the Cougar is just the opposite, the Cougar takes from the younger man, and in return, she gives that younger man because she takes the energy from the younger man and the affirmation from the younger man. I still got it. I'm Stella. I got my groove back, right? but but she's taken from that younger man his energy, his youth, and all that stuff. She's given to that younger man a lot of times her wealth, her wisdom, her reserves, maybe her experiences she's given to the younger man. So you'll see that a lot of times. Okay. So this is the class. These are the 9 classes of the modern woman, and you'll see them over and over and over again. And there are a few questions. Read the book. There's a few ways to figure this out about what it is that you see. But if you see these signs, if you heard these things in any of your friends, trust me. Like I said as a disclaimer at the beginning, I'm gonna go back to you in a minute. Like I said as a disclaimer in the beginning, this is not the law, but in most cases, you can be an amateur and a good woman, but you cannot be a good woman and an amateur. You have to be the previous one before you are the other, like the more advanced stages. You can be
Right.
you can be an amateur and an independent, a Puma, right? Or a
Yeah.
Cougar. But you know that basically would mean being an amateur. Being an amateur, you would be someone who's governed, who always says, okay, well, my mama told me, or my daddy told me, or my grandmama told me, right? And in the same speech, you give but if let's just say if they're a Puma, in the same speech, you'd be like, but I'm gonna go out here and find me a man who got it all. Or if they were a Cougar, but I'm gonna go out here and find me a young little something to keep me hot. Right? And I'll give you one more example. You can be a class B, which is a bad chick, right? That's the one that's fashionable and has to have a status symbol and always competing with her friends and all that stuff, runs in the pack, right? The flashy one,
Yeah.
and the rebel. So you're gonna speak. You be like, my mom and them didn't do nothing for me. They didn't raise me right. They my family's against me, right? And then you, let's just say you mess around and you be like an independent, right? Which is the Puma or Cougar. You be like, so I'm gonna find me a flashy old man who got it all. I'm gonna find me a sugar daddy. I mean a Cougar, the sugar daddy, right? Or if you're a Puma and a B, I mean like a bad chick and an independent Puma, you say, my mom and them didn't do nothing for me, but I'm flashy. I get my own. I whatever this and that. Then in the same speech, you'll say, well, I'm pretty. I'm sexy. You know what I'm saying? You get it though. You get it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna find
yeah.
me someone. You know what I'm saying? So it's so if you hear yourself, ladies, if you hear yourselves, please chime in. This may start a whole fire, but it's okay. This is the book that I think a lot of women are afraid of their guys reading because this book was written in my ages of being a womanizer. And I will be very honest and say at one time or another in my life I was a pickup artist. In other words, it would only take me 3 lines, not even an hour, to take a girl from the club to my house, and it literally got terrible. It got terrible, brother. My daughters changed me. And 13 years ago, no, I'm sorry, 17 years ago, when my daughter was born, it changed me. So I retired 17 years ago from all of that game, and it totally changed me, and I've been changed and a better man ever since.
Oh man, big ups to you, man. I've never
Thank you.
heard it put that way, brother. Ladies, 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 if y'all are paying attention, if you ain't paying attention, you need to pay attention. What I want you ladies to do, and if you do it, let's I'll throw a prize in, a giveaway or something. Let's figure it out. But I want y'all to engage. I want y'all to pick out. I want you to find out,
A
admit it.
class,
Find out which class are you in. Find it out. I want to know. Are you an amateur? Are you a bad chick? Are you what to
a
see? Cougar.
casual,
Oh, casual. Are you
yeah,
damaged? Are you educated? Um,
fancy free,
Fancy free.
a good woman, a
Good
harmonious woman,
woman,
or an
harmonious
independent.
woman, independent. Like,
Yeah,
yo, figure out which class of woman you are. Put it below in the comments. For the first, let's say, the 20th woman, and y'all can't repeat it. So for the 20th woman that chimes in, whether when we're live or if you're watching the replay, the 20th woman, I got a free giveaway for you. I ain't gonna tell you what it is, because then you're gonna do it just to get the giveaway. But I want y'all to tune in with us and let us know which class do you fit in, y'all. Pay attention. It's okay. Admit the class you're in. Maybe you don't want to be in that class. Maybe you want to be in another one. Maybe you want to advance from amateur to a pro or whatever it may be, y'all. But you can't be one without being the other. You can't move
absolutely.
backwards. You can't move in reverse. So it is what it is. Again, he put the disclaimer out there. This is from based on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of surveys, y'all. It's hundreds
Yes,
of surveys. It's our own opinions. It is what it is. We will always love y'all. 100%. I love women.
yes,
He
yes,
loves women. We gonna do what we do. We gonna be who we gonna be. And y'all gonna do the same. You feel me? So don't take offense
absolutely.
to any of these things. These are literally surveys from people like yourself. Remember that.
Man, the like I said, the surveys overwhelm me. I could not believe it. And this was a survey that crossed socioeconomic status. This was a survey that crossed gender. Race. This was a survey that crossed sexual orientation. You know what I'm saying? But I left it there just for women. And then I did my last part, which I had to, those last 30,000 or so, I put out there for men. So what I found that men want, and this is for the ladies that are seeking husbands or seeking someone who affirms them in their life. Men want three things: a mistress, a manager, and a maid. And it's terrible to say maid. I know it is, but I had to put it in the very simplest way. And by definition, a maid is not someone who just you can boss around. No, 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 no. We're not talking about Florence from Good Time. I mean, from the Jeffersons or not like that. A maid is someone who takes pride in taking care of the people that are in their home. They take pride in taking care of their home, and they take pride in the health of the people in their home. So that's what a maid is, okay? Just for the but they I mean people hate, we live in such a PC world that it's an occupation, goodness. But we live in such a PC world that when you use the word maid or when you use the word manager or even mistress, people don't like that word, but it's a real word. A mistress is someone who strokes your ego and makes you feel good about yourself. And a manager is someone who keeps your appointments and your priorities in line, right? So um, these are the three things that men want, and I literally put it out there. It was a checklist, and these are the things that were checked the most: mistress, manager, and maid. Out of the 15 items that were on the list, other things included like mentor and things like that. But these were the things that were checked the most from the men. So men are literally looking for three things in women. And if you are a woman who is supportive, who's organized, and who is takes care of the home, you should be married, in my opinion.
I like
You
the way
should,
you put it.
yeah.
I like the way you
Somebody should
put
have
it.
found you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So you mentioned that there are different classes of men. I don't want you to describe all of them, but just name them for me.
Those are the four. Um, men are. A lot of people consider us complicated, but I would disagree. I think men are very simple. And those classes are the intellect. That's the person who um, solves things with their mind. They use their mind. There's the compromiser. That's the person who doesn't mind doing anything to get what they want. They'll compromise just about everything except maybe some integrity things.
Gotcha.
And then there's the passive aggressive, 0 to 60. You don't know how that's going to go. Unpredictable,
Gotcha.
indifferent. And then there's the handler. Now, of course, coming like with men, I didn't get into the classes so much because of the title of the book, and I wanted to stay away from it. And then maybe the name of the next one. But with men, there's always a primary. Now, a man would have changed, of course. Like me, I will honestly, openly say that at one point in my life, I was passive aggressive. I wasn't necessarily violent, but I was passive aggressive in like going from 0 to 60. And I
Yeah.
think when people feel like how I felt taken advantage of. So I think the biggest part about being about like for anybody, it doesn't matter if you're men or female, whatever. When a person feels taken advantage of, it's because they have allowed themselves to overtake the turns that were supposed to be given. In other words, you put out more than you were allowing in. So when people learn to turn take, then there's no more advantage being taken, you know? So when some people, it's like the biggest issue with being taken advantage of is the person who is being taken advantage of is
Mm-hmm.
impatient.
Yeah.
They are impatient. They literally won't allow, like impatient and not assertive. So they literally won't allow the other person to to offer them something, nor will they speak up and say what they want.
Right.
So that's how people get taken advantage of. And what ends up happening is that while one person is feeling taken advantage of, the other person is feeling entitled and getting and more valuable. So it ends up, let's just use for example, a guy dates a girl, the first date, takes her out for a nice dinner, movie. A basic date is a food, fun, and fantasy. So food, fun, and fantasy. So he's food. He takes her to dinner. Fun. He takes her somewhere. I don't know. Maybe they do a movie or something. You know what I'm saying? And then fantasy. Maybe he takes for a walk on the beach or a walk down the avenue or something like that, holding hands or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's a basic date. So the next date, she doesn't offer. Like they're still getting to know each other, but she doesn't offer to pay for anything. She doesn't offer to do anything for him. What happens is that the woman is gaining power while the man is losing power. You understand how that's working?
Yeah.
So then
Yeah. Yeah.
ultimately,
Yeah.
in the survey, it literally said that most men felt after they got into relationships, they had been taken advantage of. And that's what a lot of women don't know is that men oftentimes be like they feel completely taken advantage of, or they've gotten used to the idea of being taken advantage of. So literally, in order to get a woman to do one thing for you, you have to do four. The
Yeah.
average date, the the average date for people who actually end up in relationships is 4 dates. I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so
didn't
this
know
is one
that
of the things.
either.
Yeah, the average date is like before people like actually like before they take on titles. The average, of course, that means a little bit over and a little bit above. I mean, a little bit under. But the average before people are actually considered an item is 4 solid dates, and that means food, fun, and fantasy. So it may be an accumulative of things. What
Yeah.
I advise people to do, and I've talked about this with a lot of friends, is don't date, relate.
Repeat that for him.
Don't date, relate. How can you be in a relationship if you're not relating? So, in other words, invite people to your life. Invite people to places where you can see them in there. If you're studying a tiger, you can't study a tiger in a cage. You got to study a tiger in its natural habitat. So you want to get people in their natural habitat. You want to invite them out with their friends. You want to invite them to places where your family is. You guys should be sharing space, not getting each other in a lone space so you can dissect each other. And there's nothing like there's no control group in psychology and in science. There is a control group, and then there's a group where there's no stimuli. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one group is getting something, and the other group is getting nothing, like a sugar cube, and then like the real medicine.
Right.
And what they found is that what I found is that a lot of times women fall in love with the I no women fall in love with the potential of a man, while men fall in love with the ideal of a woman. Now, just to break down potential and idea, it goes like this: the ideal for a man is that this man always wanted a woman who can cook. So she cooks one meal, and he's like, "I got a woman who can cook." Doesn't mean she can cook. Doesn't even mean that she will cook. There's a big difference from can and will. When
Yeah.
someone will do it, that means that they're consistent with something. When they can do it, it just means that it's available and it might show up. It might show up. Now,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
potential of something is the same thing as it might show up as well. It might show up. This man might be a millionaire. This man might be a good father. This man might be a good provider. These things, everything has to be proven. So,
Yeah.
this is why
Yeah.
you have to allow yourself to not date, just relate. Anytime
Yeah.
anytime people like watch the things that people love. I always tell people that watch the things people love. I knew a girl for one, like on one situation, and I'm gonna shut up in a minute, but I knew a girl who told me that her guy loved CDs. She was like, he loves music, he loves DJ, and he loves CDs. I said, does he? She says, yeah. I said, well, where are his CDs and stuff now? She says they're on the floor. I said, and you say that he loves them? I said, trust me, when he loves you, you'll be on the floor too. She was
I
like,
love
what?
it.
I said, everything is a colloquialism for something else. You got to understand it's a colloquialism. Like you love your platform. So
Yes,
how do you
sir.
treat your platform? With
Like it's my
quality
baby.
things.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for all the knowledge, man. Round of applause to you, brother.
Thank
Man,
you, man.
the boy, he just dropped that knowledge, y'all. As I say, I'm going to say it and I'm going to say it again every time. If you ain't paying attention, you better start paying attention, especially if you're in the dating world. But like we say, like he says, don't date, relate, y'all. Pay attention, yo. Yo, we coming to the end of this particular episode, man. You're literally the breakout interview for season 2 of the Just Be Show. People on the rise,
Awesome, man.
brother. Yo, the authors are attracted to this channel. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna come up with a series just for you guys, just for the authors, because I love it. I love it. I love when y'all put what's in here on here. Yo, that's super, super dope, man. To end it out, I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds or less, brother. Just let everybody know what you got coming up and where they can find you on social media, brother. Hit it.
Ah, man. Most of my things I post right here on hashtag digs. I'll be sharing this, and I will definitely be sharing. So hashtag digs, you can Google that. Also, and it's the word hashtag. Or you can also just Google Low Digs. That's LODIGGS. I have a new country. I have a new urban country album dropping soon. If you want to listen to some of my older R&B music, it's at Low Digs. Also, you can look it up. It's everywhere, streaming everywhere. My next book. I'm thinking about calling it from warrior. I mean, from wounded wolf to warrior. It'll be a book helping young men to discover themselves and do some life landscaping, so to speak, cleaning up the rubbish in your life and getting rid of all those things. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Just Be, and thank you for having me, Just Be.
Oh man, I appreciate you, brother. So y'all, let me drop this knowledge real quick. Yo, again, thanks to my man Low Diggs, hashtag Diggs, Lord Ren Diggs, all that, yo. He is all that and some, y'all. Make sure y'all go and pick up his book, y'all. I mean, think about it, y'all. Over 15,000 people have purchased this book, and I'm sure a majority of them read it, y'all. He drops some real knowledge here. If you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're in a relationship, or if you're just dating, whatever it is, make sure y'all go pick up the 9 classes of the modern woman, y'all. There's some
I'll put
straight
the link in
knowledge.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Definitely drop the link in the comments, hashtag brother.
yeah.
I appreciate you, man. And y'all know how I always end all of my shows, and this is what I live by. I surrender to this 100%, y'all. Smile, laugh, and definitely motivate. Inspire one so that they can inspire all. And you know the last one.